Hi, I am Elodie Novodatsky. I am the host of a self-published author's diary podcast. And today, as I'm recording this, it is Halloween. It is October 31st. So if you are about to go trick-or-treating, happy trick-or-treating. If you're about to, watch scary movies, let me know which one is your favorite scary movie. And yes, if you're watching on YouTube or wherever you can watch a podcast, you might see my cat Bobby Voltaire, or our cat Bobby Voltaire, in the back. He has a collar because he's been itching and he is adorable. So today I am talking to you from Belgium, from my couch in the living room in Belgium. And I'm going to share the ups and downs of preparing for a new release. Mostly the hiccups right now that I am encountering before my new release comes out on November 7th. I am releasing a spicy rom-com that is up for pre-orders for 99 cents if you're so interested in spicy rom-coms with main character who had cancer. It's small town, it's second chance, it has a lot of dogs, it's a one-bed forced proximity, and the one-bed trope. It's fun, I think. And yeah, it's a book that's very close to my heart. I am very excited, very nervous about the release. And I was about to put it up for reviews on Booksprouts, which is something that I usually do for my new releases. I use Booksprouts. And I was thinking about actually using NetGalley again. I haven't used NetGalley in forever. And when I used NetGalley, I used it's Anne Victoria's co-op, which I can put the link in the show notes. And you can sometimes get, if she has room for the co-op on NetGalley, you pay for a month, which is about $63 or $65. And for just ebooks, you can also do ebook and audiobooks. And I was thinking, because I want as many eyeballs on it as possible, I was thinking about putting it on NetGalley as well. And I understand sometimes it's like I also, of course, want sales out of it. But this one, my husband, if you're listening, yes, I do want sales out of it. This is a business, of course. I understand. I am registered now as a business in Belgium as well. And also this one is just, I just want people to smile, and also for people who may have had cancer, I cross my fingers that it is a story that is also, I don't want to say maybe comforting, but also like it's because it's helped me work a lot of emotions in there. So maybe that's why. And it comes out on November 7th, so next week. So the past couple of days, I've gotten it back from the proofreader. It's a book that I started writing in September 2024. I finished writing it in the spring 2025. And I already had some readers on it, and they really enjoyed it. And now I had the proofreader proofread and give me feedbacks, and I had a vibe check done by somebody who had cancer as well. And now that I got all of that, it was ready to go. So it was ready to be uploaded on the different e-retailers. And I decided to do something, like I mentioned a Kindle at some point, and because I'm wide, I did several editions where it says Kobo for the Kobo edition, it says Nook for the Barnes & Noble edition, and then it says Kindle for everything else. But I was ready to do all of that. I was also ready to upload the advanced reader copy on Booksprouts, as mentioned. And so to do that, I needed to put the links of each e-retailer, but also the link to Goodreads. So I logged into my author Goodreads. I have a personal Goodreads now that I use for just keeping track of the books that I read. And so I don't go very often on my author Goodreads. I have 3 different author profiles. I have the Elodie Novodatsky profile, which is now my YA and romantic suspense. I have my Elodie Now. Oh, I thought I had my Elodie Now profile. And then I have my pen name. And so my Elodie Now profile, which I created, I think in March 2025, is when I split my Elodie Novodatsky books into Elodie Novodatsky and Elodie Now. buckle up, because there's going to be a lot of now Novodatsky and a lot of names. So I log in. I'm like, okay, let's put the link. And I frown. And I'm like, wait, does it say that the book was written by Elodie Novodatsky with a U? That makes no sense. And yes, it's what it says. So the author name had been changed. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. And then I look at my author profile, and my author profile name has been changed from Elodie Now to Elodie Novodatsky with a U. This is not my name. This has never been my name. I've never published under that name. But what was weird is that, and I took a screenshot and I have to verify, but like it said on the cover as well that it was Elodie Novodatsky, which I've never had a cover with Elodie Novodatsky. So I said, no panic, I told myself. I may have said that out loud. I may have said it to the cat. I said, no panic. Let's figure this out. So I write on the Goodreads librarian asking them to change the name back. And somebody replies, a volunteer replies that, well, Elodie Novodatsky needs to stay, or it was changed because the books were published under that name before. And here there was a misunderstanding because the person did not realize the difference between Elodie Novodatsky and Elodie Novodatsky, because my name Elodie Novodatsky ends with an IJ, and that when you look at it very quickly, it can look like a U, which somebody else, another volunteer, pointed out after a little bit of back and forth with that person, because I was not understanding that the mistakes, because I know my name, so like it's easier for me to see like when it's U versus IJ, like I know what I can see right away that there is a difference, but somebody who doesn't know my name may not realize because it looks so close to one another, right? So I was explaining that Elodie Novodatsky was never a name that I used. So no, the covers, like when they said, well, there's no book with Elodie now, like, yeah, because everything was changed to Elodie Novodatsky. So of course there is no book by Elodie now. But there are books by Elodie now, including books that have never been published under Elodie Novodatsky, less alone Elodie Novodatsky, who does not exist. I mean, she might exist, but it's not me. And after a lot of back and forth, not that many, but like maybe 4 back and forth, I decided to ask if maybe I could just re-add Elodie Novodatsky to some of those books, because they were published prior, and they maybe also paperback. So if I could just put both names, which is what I've done on Amazon for some of them. And the person was like, well, it's going to look like messy. They can say, I'm like, no, but that works, because otherwise it can be confusing for readers. And it is confusing for readers. So I re-added Elodie Novodatsky. No, I re-added Elodie Now. I'll get it. I re-added Elodie Now as an author, and then was crossing my fingers that then they would just put it back under Elodie Novodatsky and just reinstate Elodie Now. I'm telling you, it's like a very it's not that complicated, right? Like, change Elodie Novodatsky back into Elodie Now. I re-add Elodie Novodatsky as an author, and so everything is fine. And I get my profile back as Elodie Now. And so the person, the volunteer said, fine, but we cannot, and they've had told me that before, they cannot change it themselves because Goodreads made that change. Goodreads decided that my name should be Elodie Novodatsky because it would be clearer. Again, Novodatsky is not my name. So I went into the log changes, and indeed it was in July 2025 that Goodreads decided to change from Elodie Now to Elodie Novodatsky, change everything, put the covers back that were old covers, all that stuff. But then also put covers with Elodie Novodatsky. I really have to double check this because, again, it's just strange. So I flagged that, because you can flag changes by Goodreads, and I flagged it, and I flagged it yesterday. 2 things I flagged about the author name, asking them to restore Elodie Now as my author name for that profile, because I cannot claim, because now there are books that says Elodie Now, that have never been published under any other names, but I cannot claim those books because the author name is wrong on my profile. So I did that yesterday, nothing happened. Woke up this morning thinking, yeah, maybe I will see Elodie now is back on my profile. I will be able to send my early copies to reviewers, so it's not confusing for anybody. And well, it still is, because it still says Elodie Nouveau School on my profile. So I reflagged again, saying that the change was wrong, that they had done, because if they had changed it right, then all those books would have appeared again under my Elodie Novodatsky profile. And so Elodie now could have stayed. Like, if they had just changed the name of the books to the right one, they shouldn't have changed my author profile name. So anyways, so now it's a mess. It looks like a mess. I still want to put my books on Booksprout, so I'm going to do that later today. And then, as I mentioned, I was also uploading it on different e-retailers, and I decided to upload it on my Barnes & Noble Press, on Nook. I'm very happy to be a white author for that particular pen name, so, putting it on Google and all that stuff. And when I put it on Barnes & Noble's, I'm like, oh, I probably should change my vendor account address, because I now live in Belgium. And so the address that is currently on the W9 for taxes purposes is no longer my address in the US, because we sold our house in the US. So I'm like, okay, well, should I wait? And I had this conversation with myself, or again, maybe with my cat. I said, should I wait? Maybe I should wait until after the book release. But then I'm like, no, because I established my business here in Belgium. So I should put my Belgium address, knowing that because I am a US citizen, to the question, are you a US citizen? The answer is yes. And then I, give all my information that I need to give for tax purposes. I just need to put the address that is my correct address in Belgium. And I was able to do that on my KDP dashboard, so on Amazon. I was able to do that on Draft to Digital. That also went through. I should double check, because I'm saying it went through, and now I'm like, maybe it didn't, but I didn't get an email saying it didn't all go through, so I think it went through. And also, Draft to Digital is very good at answering questions. Like, if you have questions, like for me, they've always been very good at answering very quickly, but it has gone through. On Kobo, I did not need to do that, because Kobo is a Canadian company, and so you have to keep track of your royalties and then declare them. You don't file, you don't put a W9 on there. And for the payment, I had to contact them, because Belgium was not a payment. For some reason, they didn't have the euro area, but also everybody, they answered very quickly. Everything is in process. I need to follow up with them, but very, very helpful. And so on Barnes & Noble Press, I changed, and maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I should have, because I didn't really I just updated the address. I thought that's the only thing I needed to update, but I also re-put my social, I don't know. So I put everything the way it's supposed to be. I press submit, and it says it might take a while to get, feedback. And my W9 got approved later, but first I got an email saying my vendor account was rejected. So my vendor account on Barnes & Noble has now been rejected. I have pre-orders for Nice Guys. I put the last file, the updated file for the book, but I have no idea if it's going to release. I have no idea what to do when it comes to my vendor account being rejected. There's send an email. When I tried to send an email, I got an error message afterwards saying it could not go through. So I had one contact at Barnes & Noble. So I wrote to that one contact, and I haven't heard anything back. I might try to reach out to the White for the Win group. They're on Facebook, but I think they're also on Circle. So I think I'm going to go on Circle and try to figure out. If I don't hear anything back in the next couple of days, I will probably post and ask if somebody can help, if somebody knows what to do. I'm also going to try to change my VPN and see if then I can write to Barnes & Noble via the help button. Because sometimes that happens. I've noticed like there are certain things I don't have access to, like my medical, my chart at the University of Maryland. I needed to put my VPN differently so that, because otherwise I'm in Belgium, but if I'm in Belgium, they have security restrictions and I could not access my own medical information, which I need my medical information. So for that, I was able by using a VPN to actually access it. And now maybe I have to do that for Barnes & Noble Press. Maybe that's why they rejected my email, because it was coming from Belgium. Maybe they have, I have no idea. So these are things that when you're gearing for a new release, you're not necessarily counting on. I did not have that in my bingo card. I also did not, I'm trying to catch up, and also maybe not catch up because I don't think I'll be able to catch up. I need to reorganize myself. That's better, because catching up, maybe I'm always trailing behind. I need to reorganize myself once my office, I'm not filming in my office because my office is a mess. And there are, that's one of the rooms that still has a lot of boxes. And so, yeah, I need to figure out what I need to do, and then I need to figure out the next books, because I have a pen name. I have a book that's coming out in December under a pen name, and I only have 2/3 of it written, so I still need to finish rewriting it. That's a very important task. And then for next year, I have the book that's coming out in July, and that's the only book I have so far on my calendar, because I need to figure out what I'm going to write, how long it's going to take me, what really works business-wise. So a lot of different questions that I need to answer. But first, I need to release this book. And I know the release is not, which is very important to remember, release day will not make or break a book. I can tell you that, because A Summer Like No Other release was not super successful, and Always Second Best's release was not very successful. And those are my 2 best-selling books ever. In English, I have to double check in English. In French, definitely. And in English, actually, as well. Yeah, because I still, it's also been published for longer, so it had, a longer time, which also all of this, right, makes sense. So it's been released, A Summer Like No Other was released in 2015, and so was Always Second Best. And so it's been released 10 years ago. Wow. I should do an anniversary post for A Summer Like No Other, because that book has, I think it has helped me so much in so many ways. So I have to do that and share some data and share all of that. But yeah, for now, it's just me talking to myself and to you about how I'm going to, what are the next steps for me to try to make sure that my Goodreads profile is under the right name, and also make sure that I have all the information I need before release. I also want to write, because it's Halloween today, I want to write something for my Patreon readers. I want to write something for my newsletter readers. I also have to do a lot of things in the house still. And it's still a lot of things on the to-do list, I would say. All right, so this was the latest update of a self-published author's diary, the new release edition, in a way. And to all writers out there, happy writing, and to everyone, happy reading, and wishing you a great release if you have a release coming up. I'll keep you updated on mine. Okay, bye.